Welcome cynically awesome viewers to another foam insert demo. Today I'm going to be showing you the foam insert I made for Deep Madness. It is a cooperative sci-fi horror game for 1 to 6 players. If you want to learn more about Deep Madness, there's actually a Kickstarter for the second printing of this game currently live, so go check it out. Even at the investigator level, to get the base game, you're going to get a lot of content, and that means a lot of miniatures and a lot of boxes, and that's going to take up a lot of space. I myself not only backed the original run, but also got most of the add-on content, which means that I got 4 extra boxes of content besides the base game here. But I've managed to condense all of it into 2 boxes. The base game here, and in this Endless Nightmare expansion box, which means I was able to save these boxes worth of space. These are all completely empty, and I can throw these away if I want to. So how did I do it? Well, I should let you know that I custom make all of my inserts, and I make them on the fly. So if you want dimensions for how I do this, unfortunately I can't give you a blueprint, but hopefully by seeing what I have here and by hearing my advice, you'll be able to make one for yourself. Every time I make an insert for a game like this, I want to make sure that the core box has everything I will need for the core experience, and then some. So let's take a look inside. Right off the bat here, we have the rule book. And now we can see into the foam core here. Right off the bat, we have these tiles for the base game, and these are just the base game tiles. The expansions come with extra tiles, but I left that in the other box. So let's set this aside and see what we have under it. Now, like I said, I make these on the fly, so they're not perfect, as you can see by this space over here. These 2 figurines don't have any purpose in the game, so you can proxy them for pretty much whatever you want. And what I've decided to proxy them for are for 2 markers that exist in the game, called the Devourer Marker, which tracks the progress of the enemies, and the Activation Marker, which tracks whose turn it is. So I found these miniatures, found out that they had no purpose, and instead of throwing them out, decided to put them in the core box here. And here you can see that this insert is a little short, but it has all my Devourer tokens and the special magic rune tokens that can be used in the base game. So I included it here. And beside it we have these broken hatches, which may or may not be needed in a regular playthrough. But as you can see, this insert is compact and carries everything that I need in it nicely. Next we have here all the mini cards, the Devourer track, the cardboard hatch doors, and the tokens needed for the Devourer track. Here I have all the investigators that come throughout the expansions. And I also have 2 mechanics that come from the other expansions that can be used in the core box. One are the fusion cards, and the other are the cards that go with those magic runes that you saw earlier. Besides that, we have all the cards that represent the devoured rooms, and I even put the cards for the expansion tiles because they can fit. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be here. Even though I won't need them for the core box, they can fit in here, and it saves me space in the second box. Here I have all the monster spawn cards. On the right here I have the monsters that are in this box, as well as the epic monsters that kind of share space between this box and the other, which you'll see in a bit. But then here on the left are all the other monsters that exist in the other box. But they can fit in here, so I put them here. This can lift up and out. So now let's see what we have. Here's a tray for a bunch of monster tokens that go to a specific monster. Now the monsters aren't in this box, but again, because they could fit in here, I did put them in here. We can take this out. And now you're seeing some of the miniatures that exist on the bottom. But let's keep our focus up here. Here are all the bridge cards. On the right we have the scenario specific cards. And under that we have the consciousness cards. And this is all the consciousness cards that exist between all the expansions, because the expansions added to this deck and made it as big as it is here. And instead of separating them all out, because they can exist together, I have put them all together. Here are all the search cards. And then here on the left, we have the final piece to the extra rune mechanic that exists. Here we have 6 syringe cards that can be separated from this deck and can be added on as a bit of an easy mode. And then we have the madness cards. Again, it's a huge pile of cards from cards between all the expansions. Normally I wish that games wouldn't add on to decks like this or have ways to kind of swap in, swap out the cards. And so if the game says they all can be slapped together, I put them all together. Made it a lot easier and made it so that I can just have it all in one place. So here we have all the tarot size cards. This includes these reference cards, the investigator cards, and all the monsters. And so, because I'm familiar with the monsters, I know which ones exist in this box and which ones don't. So if I say wanted to only incorporate, let's say I only wanted to bring this box to a friend's house and say, all right, let's play this game. I know which monsters I need and which monsters I have in this box, so I can separate them and randomize them for when I need to actually play the game. But if I have this second box with me here and I want to incorporate all the monsters, I can use them all. Shuffle them, separate them, and do what I need to do. Again, because they all fit in here, even though I may not need it for the core experience, they fit, and so they're here. On the right, we have these 3D spawn tokens. We have these flood markers, these success tokens, these tokens that go with a specific epic monster, and these +1 health tokens. But even under this, boom, we have the markers that you would need when setting up a specific scenario. Because I won't need these during gameplay, I can take whichever ones I need and then leave the rest in the game box off the table. So here we have the rest of the tiles, the epic monsters in this corner, which include the 3 that come with this box, and then because I got the first edition, I guess you could say, or the first run pledge, they gave an option that had an extra epic monster at a reduced price, and so I said sure. For reference, I do not have all the epic monsters that are available in Deep Madness. I saw the campaign and said to myself, do I really want to spend all this money on these monsters? They're cool, but unfortunately I was a little short on cash at the time, so I didn't buy them all. And I realized the way that the monsters work in the game, I wouldn't even be able to utilize them all. So right off the bat, I've already got so much content that I'm okay if I don't have everything, because there's already so much here. God forbid I put more money in for something I'm never going to play with. But anyways, so we have all the monsters that are in the core box, and just those monsters. Of course, here you see this big pile of investigators, and I mean, because you can pick whatever investigator you want, I have them all here in the core box. I also have these items that are card specific in here as well, and the 3D hatches, because they all can fit. And then here we have another mini tray that I can have beside the table that organizes the tokens we'll need during gameplay, including health, sanity/madness tokens, and these status effect tokens. So this and this are the only 2 things that need to be beside the table while we're playing. Everything else can go back in the box so that it doesn't take up any space. And under that tray we have the dice and the dials. So we can just take what we need and put everything else back in the box. As you can see, everything fits swimmingly. There's no excess bulge when I close the lid. It is perfectly flush with the cover. So what do we have in here? Let's take a look. Now I actually found out that I have a lot more space than I thought I did. Here I've got the 4 expansion booklets. And now you can see the excess space that I have. But anyways, here we have monsters, and for some of these I have 2 monsters or 3 monsters in the same sort of section here, but some they get a section all their own. It just kind of depends on which ones are harder to kind of identify from each other, or whether or not they could fit. Here I have the mini cards that I need specifically for the scenarios that exist in the expansions. These are not compatible with what's in the core game. These are very specific to their scenarios. These specific scenario cards and these tokens specific to these scenarios. Again, excess bases, tokens specific to specific scenarios, and these plastic stands. Don't need them in the core game, so they can go in here. Here are the tiles that are specific to these scenarios, yada yada yada. And there we have the rest of the epic monsters here at the top, and the rest of the monsters that come with all the expansions. Some only have a single type of monster, some have 2 or 3, but they all fit, and they all fit nicely. And that's how I managed to condense 5 boxes of content into 2, and separating what I need in the core experience and the extras box here. Let me know what you thought of this foam core demo in the comments below, and if you have any suggestions or questions on how to make your own. Deep Madness is a very interesting game, and now that I've got all the components organized, it makes setup and teardown of the game so much easier. Not to mention the amount of space I'm saving thanks to the insert. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars for some laser cut wood. You can make your own foam insert with simple supplies at your local hobby store for a lot cheaper. But that's all for now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing some Deep Madness gameplay in the near future. Although tutorials already exist for this game online, let me know if you'd rather see one in my style. I typically like to stay away from doing tutorials of games where tutorials already exist, but If the demand is there, then I'll do it. But until next time, thanks for watching. No, don't eat it.